Hey there, and welcome to this rapidMATION demo. Here at rapidMATION, we're about all things intelligent automation. And when we create intelligent automation solutions for our customers, we have one or more tools in our intelligent automation toolbox that we may combine together to deliver beyond expectations for our customers. In today's demo, we're going to combine a mobile app with a process automation platform. And really the need was to have a beautiful native iOS or Android app that could then use a market-leading automation platform to automate a number of processes off the back end of this mobile app. In today's scenario, we're going to combine a platform called Jigx, which allows us to build beautiful mobile apps that users love, with the market-leading process automation platform from Nintex. The scenario we're going to use today is around a health and safety scenario. On the left-hand side, you'll see some screen grabs of the app. Now, in this case, we've branded the app with all things Nintex, but you could, of course, customize the branding to your exact brand or company or any of the features and functionalities that you may like to expose. And where we're going to focus in on the demo today is around a site induction process. And once a user has found a site that they would like to be inducted on, this is going to go through and kick off a workflow process. And one or more users inside the organization can review this application, approve, decline it, or do different things with that application. Now, of course, we're going to zone in on the site induction process today, but know that you can build in any kind of key functionality that you may like to use. Things like checklists or permits or hazard reports, or even the ability to nominate different of your colleagues for different awards or recognition. Often people start off and ask us, well, why would you want to do this? And why you really want to create a beautiful looking native mobile app on top of different automation is because applications are only ever as successful as the experience. And using the Jigx platform allows us to create a very compelling experience that users love, and that makes adoption seamless across anything that we would like to put under their thumb. So let's go have a look and see what this app looks like in action. What you're looking at here is my iOS mobile device. And on my screen, you can see that there's a nicely branded Nintex app. Now again, the branding around these apps is completely customizable to your specific brand or company. When I click on the app, you can see that there's some beautiful design that comes to life as I open up this app. In this scenario, because I'm going to log into the app, it's going to ask me to authenticate. There's a vast variety of different ways that you can actually authenticate against a Jigx mobile app. But in this scenario, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a username and password combination and log into the specific mobile app. As I log into the mobile app, you'll see that I'm greeted with a landing page of a variety of different things that I might be able to do inside the mobile app. The first thing that you'll notice is something that we call stories up the top. And this is a very common feature in social media apps today, where I can thumb left and right and I can view a vast variety of different pieces of content. Should I want to go through and be inducted into one of these sites, I simply click on the Start Induction button. Just before I get to the induction, what I'll do is take you through on a tour of some of the other features and functionalities that we've built into this specific mobile app. The first thing is the concept of checklists. If you're on site, you have the need to obviously go through and mark off different checklists. And once you've signed off different checks, that may need to drive one or more processes behind the scenes. Next up is permits. On any construction site, there's a need to have a variety of different permits depending on what the work is that needs to happen. There could be permits for things like hot water or even working at heights, and right under my thumb I can get access to any of these specific permits or add any new permits that I might have. Next up is something like hazard reports. On any site, there is the need to go through and report one or more hazards for certain categories to make sure that the site is nice and healthy and that there's no major issues or risks on site. So I can go here and use any of the native device capabilities to use my camera to take photos or upload any images that I might have as part of my mobile device. I can also go through and I can actually nominate one or more of my colleagues for different awards or recognition. And there's some great different features and functionalities like different signature pads or different controls that I can use to go through and do this. What you can see though is everything is under my thumb. It's slick, it's fast, and it's beautiful looking. Let's head back to our site induction. So what I'm going to do here is click into my story and I'm going to page across to Central Place. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Start Induction button. What this is going to do, it's going to load up a form for me that pre-populates with a number of different pieces of information that Jigx knows on my specific users. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to change some of this default data so we can see exactly how this process gets kicked off. You can see there's all the beautiful capabilities like mandatory fields and being able to bring up different keyboards or different input types depending on where I am inside different fields. Once I've completed all the details of this form, what I can simply do is click on the Submit Induction button. And there we go, we can see that the induction has actually been received. By clicking on Submit Induction, that started off a workflow process for me. And someone internally inside this organization could open up a Nintex dashboard that looks similar to the above. You can see here that we can see a list of all of the previous inductions that have actually been submitted. And if I come up here and I click on the refresh button, we'll notice that this new induction that we've just kicked off has appeared in the list. And you can see that it's Sean Smith and it's the master plumber that I actually kicked off. At the same time, a user can come in here and they can double click on this form, and using this Nintex K2 form, they can view any parts of the form that the user actually submitted. In addition to the above, what's happened is we've kicked off a workflow process. So I'm going to move across to the task inbox, and if I come down here and I refresh my task list, you'll see that there's a new task that's actually been kicked off. And this is telling me as my human user that there's something that I need to action. In this case, I can review all of the details of that site induction process, and I can go through and I can do a number of different things. I could action this, I could approve or decline it. If I didn't think that this was something that I could necessarily do, I could redirect this, and I could redirect this to another user inside our organization. What Share does is Share allows me to collaborate with someone else inside my organization to complete this specific task. There's heaps of features and functionalities that you might be able to use in the Nintex K2 platform. But one that I want to show you is something called the view flow diagram. And the view flow diagram is a graphical representation of the process and where we are inside this specific process flow. The beautiful thing about this view flow diagram is it's completely interactive and it's color coded for me. We can see by the green lines that's parts of the process that have already completed. You can see that the review site induction has a blue block surrounded, and what that means is that's where we currently are in this process. You can see the rest of the lines currently are all gray, and what that means is that that part of the process has not yet been touched by this specific workflow. What I can do is I can actually click into any of these specific reports, and I can go through and view a vast variety of reporting information on any part of this specific process. I can see things like who currently has this task, how long they've had it for, has it been escalated, or any other details around this specific process. Now what I'll do is I'll come back here to this specific workflow form. And now that I've reviewed the details, I'm going to go through and I'm going to go make a decision. And in this case, I'm going to go say that this site induction has been approved. You can see that the task drops off of my task list, and if I move across to this view flow diagram, we'll see this view flow diagram light up with the parts of the process that it is gone and taken as part of this specific workflow. There we go, we can see that it very quickly turned to green and it's followed down the approved part of the workflow process, and in this example, that is the end of this specific demo. That was a great example that was built by rapidMATION but powered by the Jigx and Nintex platforms. Please remember that this is just one example of how you might be able to combine these platforms, and the native mobile app and automation opportunities are truly endless. Often people ask us how they could get started, and one of the great things that we do is something called an app evaluation. And an app evaluation is 1 hour with the appropriate subject matter expert on your end to talk through their mobile app needs. What we do is we provide you back with a 1-page app evaluation that tells you, is it a good idea for a mobile app and automation, and roughly how long it will take and what it will cost. Of course, this is all free of charge, so don't delay, get started with an app evaluation today. If you'd like to get started, simply give us a call or drop us an email, and we'd love to get you started on your intelligent automation journey. Speak soon.